I don't care how you feel.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going for it, not just dipping our toes in.
No, definitely not.
We are embarking on a true deep dive into the incredible, often kind of unseen architecture of, well, you.
Exactly.
We're talking about the fundamental systems that quite literally sculpt your form, protect your insides, and, connect you to the world every single second. Your skin, your bones, and your joints.
The building blocks.
And we've got this formidable stack of sources here. Everything from detailed anatomical articles, research papers, expert study guides.
Yeah, good pile.
And our mission today is to cut through the jargon, pull out the most important and honestly the most fascinating bits of knowledge, give you that well-informed shortcut without, the overwhelm.
It's a journey into yourself, really, isn't it? It's kind of remarkable how often we just take these systems for granted.
Totally.
And what's often overlooked, and what we really want to unpack today, is that these aren't just like simple coverings or rigid supports. They are dynamic, multitasking organs and structures, constantly adapting, performing this silent symphony of functions.
A symphony, I like that.
Yeah, so this deep dive, it's designed to give you a genuine understanding, not just what they do, but why they matter so profoundly for your overall health, your survival, and really your entire experience of being in the world. Our goal is to connect these vital, interconnected parts of you, hopefully spark a fresh appreciation.
Absolutely. So, for today's journey, plan is start with your body's incredible outer armor, the skin. Anatomists call it the integumentary system.
Right.
It's way more than just a wrapper, as we'll find out. Then we'll move inward to the internal framework supporting us all, the skeletal system. Surprisingly active, surprisingly vital.
Definitely not just inert scaffolding.
Nope. And finally, we'll explore the amazing movers and shakers, the things that allow all our motion and flexibility to your joints. Without them, the framework's just, a static sculpture.
True. Be pretty dull.
It's going to be a truly fascinating exploration, so let's dive right in.
Okay, let's start with the integumentary system. Your skin. What's truly astonishing about it is, despite weighing just a few kilograms...
Which isn't much, really.
No, but it actively performs more distinct life-sustaining functions than almost any other single organ. It's not just a barrier. It's your body's most active, let's say, diplomatic organ, constantly negotiating your internal state with the outside world.
It is a huge claim for something we often just think of as, skin. So, what are some of the most surprising ways it does all this? Beyond just covering us up, what are the primary functions, the stuff happening without us even realizing?
Well, okay, its role as protection is maybe the most obvious one. Your personalized armor, right? Shielding tissues from pathogens, chemicals, UV radiation.
The basics.
The basics, yeah. But the skin's genius, it lies in its multifaceted nature. What's truly remarkable, I think, is its role as a master regulator of body temperature.
Ah, like our internal thermostat.
Exactly, your personal climate control. Precisely tuning your internal temperature. Think sweating when it's hot, or vasoconstriction tightening blood vessels near the surface when it's cold to keep heat in.
Clever.
And it's your primary interface for sensation. It's packed. Absolutely packed with specialized cells detecting everything. The gentlest touch, sharp pain, hot, cold, constantly feeding info back to your brain.
So, not just a physical shield, but an intelligent one, communication device almost.
Yeah.
What else is it quietly doing?
Well, it quietly handles some waste excretion, helps get rid of certain metabolic byproducts through sweat. A minor role, but still there.
Okay.
But maybe even more profound, it's a vital factory for synthesis of vitamin D3.
Ah, the sunshine vitamin connection.
Precisely. And this is a crucial link, right? Your outer surface directly impacts the strength and health of your bones deep inside. A connection most people probably never fully appreciate.
It's huge.
It is. Plus, it plays a significant role in immune response. It acts as an outpost for immune cells, like sentinels standing guard against invaders. And it's involved in lipid storage, fat storage, as part of the hypodermis, offers an energy reserve, cushioning. It really is your dynamic first line of defense, interaction, and internal maintenance, all in one package.
It's mind-boggling how much it handles.
Yeah.
And how it manages all these roles, how it's so adaptable, resilient.
Yeah.
That must be down to its architecture, right? Its structure. Can you clarify, what do we mean by the cutaneous membrane and its layers?
Indeed, the brilliance is its layered architecture. What we generally call skin is technically the cutaneous membrane. Think of it as a two-layered marvel.
Okay.
You've got the epidermis, which is the ever-renewing outer shield, the part facing the world, responsible for a lot of that protection and sensation we just talked about.
Right, the surface layer.
Then directly beneath that, providing the robust foundation and all its life support systems, is the dermis.
The thicker part.
Yeah. And just below that, although not strictly part of the skin itself, is the hypodermis. Crucial cushioning, energy storage. Its closest associate and anchor, really.
Okay, epidermis first. Our body's true outer shield, constantly battling the environment. It feels tough, but you said it's incredibly active, constantly rebuilding. How does this dynamic, multi-story building structure work? And what are the specialized cells doing the heavy lifting inside?
That's a great analogy, the multi-story building, because the epidermis truly is dynamic, constantly undergoing renovation, renewal. But if you looked at, say, the thick skin on your palms and soles, you'd find 5 distinct floors or layers, each with a critical role, constantly pushing cells upwards from deep to superficial. There's a playful mnemonic some people use. Come, let's get sunburned.
Come, let's get sunburned. I like it. Okay, let's start at the bottom, the basement level, where the action begins.
Right. The deepest layer is the stratum basal. Think of it as the epidermal engine room, constantly humming. It contains stem cells continually dividing, producing new cells.
The factory floor.
Exactly. Pushed upwards in this never-ending cycle of renewal. This layer is firmly attached to the basement membrane, which anchors the whole epidermis to the dermis below. Stops it just sloughing off too early.
Got it. So, new cells born here start their journey up. What's next?
As they get pushed up, they enter the stratum spinosum. Under a microscope, the cells here look kind of spiny.
Spiny, why?
It's because of numerous desmosomes, these strong, button-like junctions holding them tightly together. This intricate network provides immense strength and flexibility to the skin, makes it resistant to tearing, stretching when you move.
Okay, strength and flexibility layer. Moving higher, what's the next stage in this cellular assembly line?
Above the spinosum is the stratum granulosum. Here, the cells start to flatten out, undergo significant changes. They begin producing 2 crucial things. Keratin.
The tough stuff.
The tough fibrous protein, and keratofatillin, which is a precursor to the waterproofing lipids. This layer is where the cells essentially start their sacrifice to become that outer protective barrier, begins the critical waterproofing process.
Waterproofing starts here. Got it. And before the very top layer, there's a special one, but only in certain places.
Precisely. The stratum lucidum. It's a clear, thin layer. But crucial to remember, it's only found in thick skin. Palms of your hands, soles of your feet.
Why only there?
Its functional significance is profound. It adds an extra layer of resilience, protection, like added armor, basically. In these specific areas that get a lot of friction, wear and tear, makes them even more robust.
Makes sense. And then the roof of our building.
Yeah.
The outermost layer facing the world.
That's the stratum corneum, most superficial layer, composed of multiple layers of tough, flattened, dead cells, tightly packed with keratin.
So these are the dead cells we're always shedding.
Exactly. These cells are the finished product of the epidermal factory, your ultimate waterproof, protective barrier. And yes, it's constantly planting something like 50,000 dead skin cells every minute.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, it's constantly replacing itself. A testament to the skin's incredible efficiency and resilience.
A non-stop, self-renewing fortress. And within these layers, these busy floors, there are specialized cells, each with a unique, critical role. Who are these unsung heroes besides the main keratin producers?
Excellent question. While keratinocytes are the most abundant, making that keratin for protection and waterproofing, there are others just as vital. We have melanocytes, for instance.
The pigment cells.
Right, like tiny pigment printers nestled in the stratum basal. They produce melanin, essential for UV protection, natural sunscreen, and the primary determinant of our diverse skin colors. They're literally guarding our underlying cells from damaging UV radiation.
Super important job.
Definitely. Your immune system also has crucial outposts here. These are the Langerhans cells, also known as dendritic cells. They act like vigilant sentinels, constantly patrolling for invaders, bacteria, viruses, foreign stuff, and coordinating an immune response if needed.
Immune surveillance.
Exactly. And then, for our sense of touch, we have the Merkel cells, or tactile cells. These are fine-tuned touch receptors, often found right at the epidermal junction, involved in detailed touch sensations, letting us perceive textures, light pressure. Each cell type perfectly placed to do its specific vital job in this incredible shield.
So that's the busy, constantly renewing surface, keeping stuff out, sensing the world. But what about the deeper part, the infrastructure? The bit that gives skin its strength, lets it stretch, and really feels things. The dermis.
Right, so right underneath that incredibly active epidermis, like the strong, flexible framework of a building, that's where you find the dermis. This is your skin's robust connective tissue layer, the true powerhouse of the cutaneous membrane.
What?
Absolutely packed with vital components, a dense network of blood vessels nourishing the skin, a rich array of nerve endings for sensation, hair follicles, various glands,
Yeah.
all anchored here.
So all the important life support systems are there, nourishing the outer layers, providing sensation, and that incredible elasticity allowing our skin to move with us.
Precisely. The dermis is actually structured in two layers itself. The more superficial papillary layer, made of loose areolar connective tissue, it forms these finger-like projections, dermal papillae, that interlock with the epidermis. Gives it strength, contains capillaries to nourish the epidermis, and nerve endings for touch.
Interlocking like Velcro almost.
Kind of, yeah. Then there's the much thicker, deeper reticular layer, composed of dense, irregular connective tissue. This layer is what gives skin its incredible strength and elasticity, thanks to a dense, interwoven network of collagen and elastic fibers.
Ah, collagen and elastin.
Yeah.
The famous duo.
The very ones. This entire dermis is crucial for nourishment, sensation, and securely anchoring the epidermis on top. Without its integrity, our skin would be, well, very fragile.
Okay. And then below that, there's another layer, right? Not technically part of the skin, but plays a huge, crucial role. The hypodermis.
Yes, the hypodermis, also known as the subcutaneous layer, an incredibly important, almost foundational layer many might overlook. It's primarily made of adipose tissue, basically, fat cells along with some loose areolar connective tissue.
And this raises an interesting point. Why so much fat here? What's its purpose? Seems like more than just padding.
It's definitely more than just padding, though it certainly acts as a cushion. It serves several critical functions. Firstly, it's a significant energy reserve, like a metabolic bank account your body can tap into when needed.
Makes sense.
Secondly, that adipose tissue provides excellent insulation against temperature changes, helps keep you warm, maintain core body temperature. Thirdly, as you hinted, it acts as a vital shock absorber, protecting your internal organs from impacts, cushioning against physical trauma.
Right.
And interestingly, it's a common target for injections, subcutaneous injections, precisely because of its rich blood supply and cushioning properties, which allow for slow, sustained absorption of medication.
Oh.
You see, every part of your skin and its associated structures has a profoundly significant interwoven functional role. Nothing's just there.
It really does. Now, speaking of melanin, those melanocytes we mentioned, let's talk skin color. You mentioned something earlier that's genuinely counterintuitive. Most people, myself included, assume darker skin just means more melanocytes, but you're saying it's not the number.
That's a really common misconception, yeah, and it's a fantastic point to clarify. What many people might not realize is that the huge spectrum of human skin tones isn't primarily down to the number of melanocytes you have.
Really?
In fact, most people, regardless of ethnic background, geographical origin, whatever, they have a remarkably similar count of these pigment cells in their skin.
Fascinating. So if the number of pigment cells is roughly the same, then what factors do create that beautiful diversity we see? Must be more nuanced.
It absolutely is. The real difference, the true determinant of skin color, lies in several interconnected factors. The primary one is the amount of melanin produced by those melanocytes, how active, how prolific they are.
Ah, so it's about productivity, not head count.
Exactly. Think of it less as having more printers, more about how much ink each printer is consistently churning out. Then there's the type of melanin produced. There's eumelanin, responsible for brown-black tones, provides strong UV protection. And pheomelanin, which gives reddish-yellow hues, offers less UV protection. The precise balance and blend of these two types are crucial.
So not just how much melanin, but what kind? Are there other factors influencing this complex tapestry?
Yes, the distribution of this melanin within the epidermal layers also plays a significant role. How the pigment granules are packed, dispersed within the keratinocytes, that further influences the visible color.
Okay.
Beyond melanin, other pigments contribute subtle but noticeable effects. Carotene, an orange-yellow pigment, can accumulate in the stratum corneum and subcutaneous fat, often from your diet. Think carrots, squash. Gives a yellowish tint.
Right, I've heard of that.
And hemoglobin, the oxygen-carrying pigment in your red blood cells, always plays a part. Oxygenated hemoglobin gives a pinkish or reddish tint, especially obvious in lighter skin tones. Conversely, low oxygen levels can cause a bluish tint cyanosis, which is clearly visible in the skin.
Oh, okay.
So it's not about how many pigment cells you've got. It's the quantity and type of melanin they're making, its distribution, and the subtle influence of these other pigments, all contributing to your natural UV protection and unique appearance.
It's truly remarkable how many roles these accessory structures play. Protection, sensation, even hygiene. Makes you realize how robust this whole outer system is. But even a marvel, like, the skin isn't invincible, right? What happens when it takes a hit? How does this incredibly complex system, with all its layers and cells, actually fix itself?
Before we get to repair, let's just quickly touch on those accessories because they are way more than just superficial adornments. They're integrated components vital to the skin's overall function. Take hair, for instance.
Yeah.
Not just aesthetics. Provides essential protection from UV radiation, particularly on the scalp, offers some insulation against heat loss, and actually aids in sensory detection. That faint touch on your arm often registers because your hair follicles are nerve-rich.
Ah.
Hair also acts as a subtle guard for entry points, nostrils, eyelashes, trapping dust, small particles.
And goosebumps. That feeling when you're cold or startled, that's the tiny erector pili muscle pulling on the hair follicle, right?
Exactly, an involuntary reflex. A fascinating remnant from our ancestors who might have needed to fluff up their fur for warmth or, look bigger to a threat. A biological echo.
Kind of cool. What about nails?
Then there are your nails, often seen as purely cosmetic, but they offer vital protection for the delicate fingertips and toes, shielding them from trauma. And functionally, they actually help you grasp and manipulate small objects, significantly improve dexterity.
I never thought of nails helping with dexterity, but it makes perfect sense. Picking up a coin, scratching an itch.
Right. The nail body itself is transparent, by the way. Its pinkish color comes from the rich network of blood vessels in the dermis underneath, not pigment in the nail itself. Key features also include the lunula, that pale crescent at the base, and the cuticle, or eponychium, which seals the nail plate to the skin, protecting the nail matrix.
Okay. And what about the skin's secret keepers? The glands?
Yeah.
Doing some serious work behind the scenes, often unnoticed.
Absolutely. You've got the sebaceous glands, oil glands, usually associated with hair follicles. They secrete sebum, your body's natural skin oil.
Not just lubrication, though.
No. This oily, waxy stuff lubricates skin and hair, stops them getting dry, brittle. But crucially, it contributes to the acidic mantle on your skin. Creates a slightly acidic environment that inhibits the growth of many harmful bacteria, fungi, like a tiny built-in chemical shield.
Wow. A built-in antibacterial layer. You don't learn that in basic hygiene.
Precisely. A subtle first line of defense. Then you have the sudoriferous, or sweat glands. Two key types here, distinct roles. Apocrine glands are mainly in areas like armpits, anal regions, around nipples. They become active at puberty, produce a milky, viscous, initially odorless secretion into hair follicles.
Initially odorless.
Yeah, it only develops that characteristic body odor when bacteria on the skin metabolize its organic compounds.
Ah, so it's the bacteria, not the sweat itself, that smells. Common misconception.
It absolutely is. In
Yeah.
contrast, the much more common merocrine or eccrine glands are widely distributed across most of your body. Palms, soles, forehead especially. They produce watery sweat directly onto the skin surface, mainly for thermoregulation, your body's built-in air conditioning cooling you through evaporation. And they help a bit with excretion of salts, metabolic wastes too.
Okay, the main cooling system. Any other specialized glands?
Yes, two other modified types. Ceruminous glands, specialized sweat glands in your ear canal. They produce cerumen earwax, helps trap foreign particles, dust, insects, and lubricates the ear canal.
Earwax factories.
Pretty much. And of course, mammary glands in the breasts. Modified apocrine sweat glands that produce milk. So as you can see, these accessory structures aren't just cosmetic. Crucial integrated roles in well-being, protection, temperature regulation, even basic survival functions.
It's truly humbling how vital all these components are. Our skin is incredibly tough, resilient, a marvel. But even with all its protective features, what happens when it does get damaged? How does this amazing, intricate system actually fix itself? Can't be simple patching.
You're absolutely right. It's far from simple, not just a patch-up job. It's like a highly orchestrated biological drama, unfolding in 4 distinct yet perfectly integrated acts. Your body has this remarkable, almost artistic capacity for self-repair, a precise sequence of cellular events.
Okay, so let's say you get a cut, a scrape. What's Act 1 in this biological drama?
First, there's inflammation. Immediately after injury, bleeding occurs. Body's priority, stop it. Blood vessels constrict briefly, minimize blood loss. Then they dramatically dilate, increase blood flow to the injured site.
Why more blood flow? Seems counterintuitive.
Brings in the troops. Mast cells, acting like alarm bells, trigger a rapid inflammatory response. Release chemicals like histamine. This influx of blood brings essential immune cells, like phagocytes, the body's cleanup crew, to the site. Clear debris, digest dead tissue, fight off potential infection. It's basically setting the stage for repair. Cleaning house, calling for help.
Okay. Stage 1. Cleanup. Immediate defense. What comes next to physically close the wound?
Precisely. Next is migration and scab formation. As the blood at the surface clots and dries, a protective scab forms. This isn't just a crust, it's a vital temporary barrier. Prevents fluid loss, protects underlying tissue from infection.
Like a natural Band-Aid.
Exactly. Simultaneously, cells from the stratum basal, those prolific stem cells, start migrating along the wound edges, multiplying, trying to close the epidermal gap beneath the scab. Phagocytic cells continue their work, removing remaining debris, clearing the path for new tissue.
So build a temporary shield while sending in the advance party for reconstruction, and then the actual rebuilding begins.
Yes, that's the heart of the repair process. Proliferation and granulation tissue formation. Once the wound is clean, largely covered, fibroblasts. The body's little architects flood the area. They start producing granulation tissue.
What's that?
It's new, delicate, highly vascularized tissue, rich in collagen fibers, forming a structural scaffold. New capillary sprout, bringing fresh oxygen, nutrients. This granulation tissue actively fills in the wound beneath the scab, laying down the structural foundation for the new skin.
Collagen, again, the essential scaffolding.
Exactly, the structural scaffolding of the new tissue.
Uh-huh.
Finally, we have scarring and remodeling. The scab eventually falls off as the epidermis fully regenerates underneath. But the story isn't quite over.
Oh.
Fibroblasts continue producing collagen. If the injury was deep or extensive, this overproduction of collagen can lead to visible scar tissue. Scar tissue often differs from original skin. Texture, elasticity. The collagen fibers are organized differently, more parallel, less flexible.
So that's why scars look and feel different.
Right. Over several months, even years, this scar tissue undergoes remodeling, becomes stronger, sometimes less noticeable. But it typically never regains the full range of accessory structures or the original complex organization of the original tissue. Understanding these stages really gives you an appreciation for the body's remarkable capacity for self-repair, aiming to restore function and integrity, though sometimes with a visible mark reminding us of the healing.
That repair process is just mind-bogglingly complex.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, even this amazing protective layer can face serious challenges, severe accidents, disease. Can you help us understand the different degrees of damage with burns? They sound straightforward, but the implications are huge.
Certainly. Understanding burn degrees is incredibly helpful. They directly correlate with severity, treatment needs. Think of your skin layers like a, multi-layered cake.
Like, I like cake.
A first-degree burn is like just scorching the icing on top. Only affects the epidermis. Causes redness, mild pain, often swelling, but typically no blisters. A mild sunburn is a classic example. Usually heals quickly, few days, no scarring usually, because the stratum basal, the factory floor, is mostly intact.
Okay, just the surface. Mild sunburn. We've all probably had that. What about second degree? Deeper into the cake.
Yes, a second-degree burn goes deeper, affects the epidermis and a significant part of the dermis underneath. This is where it goes deeper into the cake, damages the next layer, leads to redness, significant pain, and those telltale blisters.
Blisters are key for second degree.
Crucial diagnostic signs, yeah. The deeper damage means higher risk of infection. Healing takes longer, often a week or two. Can sometimes result in minor scarring because some dermal structures might be damaged.
Right, blisters mean second degree, definitely more serious. And then the most severe type.
Then a third-degree burn is the most severe. That's like literally burning right through the cake, the plate, maybe scorching the table underneath. It completely destroys both epidermis and dermis. Extends deep into the subcutaneous layer, potentially damaging muscles, bone. These burns can look white, black, charred. Skin often feels dry, leathery. And here's the tragic paradox. Often these burns cause no pain.
No pain, how?
Because the nerve endings themselves have been completely destroyed, they won't heal on their own, require specialized medical intervention, almost always including grafting.
That's truly devastating. The lack of pain must be so deceptive. So for those really extensive third-degree injuries, what can be done medically? Sounds like the body can't manage it alone.
You're absolutely right. For extensive third-degree burns, the body's natural repair mechanisms are overwhelmed. That's where skin grafts become literally life-saving.
Okay.
Goal is to restore that vital protective barrier, prevent catastrophic fluid loss, protect against overwhelming infection. An autograft is the gold standard. skin taken from an unburned area of the patient's own body, transplanted to the burn site. Ideal, of course. No risk of immune rejection. It's permanent.
And if an autograft isn't possible, or the burn's too extensive to harvest enough skin?
Good question. If that's not possible, an allograft or homograft uses skin from another human donor, often a cadaver. This is typically temporary. Acts as a biological dressing, protects the wound, reduces fluid loss, prepares the site for an eventual autograft, because it will eventually be rejected by the patient's immune system.
I see. Temporary fix.
Yeah. Less commonly, a xenograft or heterograft uses skin from an animal, like a pig. Also often temporary, similar reasons, and sometimes synthetic grafts, artificial materials, can be used as temporary coverings. The ultimate goal for all of them: stabilize the patient, provide a functional, sometimes temporary protective barrier, allow for healing and recovery.
A powerful reminder of how critical that outer layer is for survival,
Yeah.
how complex its repair can be. Now, shifting gears from trauma to disease, specifically skin cancer. Your sources mentioned two key types, basal cell carcinoma and malignant melanoma. Can you walk us through the differences, origin, progression, the threat they pose?
Yes, and these two represent very different levels of threat and prevalence. Understanding the distinction is paramount for health. Basal cell carcinoma is by far the most common type of skin cancer.
Okay.
It originates in the stratum basal, that deepest epidermal layer we talked about, where those active stem cells live. The good news, relatively speaking, is it's usually slow growing, and it rarely metastasizes, meaning it doesn't often spread to other parts of the body.
Okay. Common, but usually localized and treatable if caught early. That's a relief. What does it typically look like?
Often appears as a pearly nodule or a waxy bump with rolled edges, sometimes visible blood vessels, almost like a small waxy pimple that just doesn't go away. Generally, with prompt detection and treatment, the cure rate is very high.
Good to know. But then there's the other one.
Malignant melanoma, that's the most dangerous type of skin cancer. It originates from those melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells, also found in the stratum basal. It's truly insidious because it's highly metastatic.
Meaning it spreads easily.
Aggressively and rapidly, yeah. Can spread to other organs throughout the body. And it grows quickly.
That's the one we really need to watch out for then. What are the warning signs? And there's a helpful rule for self-detection, right? The ABCDEs?
Absolutely. Given its aggressive nature, early detection for melanoma can literally be life-saving. The ABCDE rule for detection is a crucial mnemonic for monitoring moles or new pigmented lesions.
Okay, let's hear it.
A is for asymmetry. One half of the mole doesn't match the other half. Imagine drawing a line through it if the two halves don't mirror each other. Red flag.
Got it. B.
B is for border irregularity. The edges are ragged, notched, blurred, poorly defined rather than smooth and even.
C.
C is for color variation. The color isn't uniform across the mole, may include shades of black, brown, tan, even patches of red, white, or blue.
D.
D is for diameter. The spot is typically larger than 6 millimeters, about the size of a pencil eraser. While smaller melanomas exist, it's a good general guideline. E is for evolving. The mole is changing. Size, shape, color, elevation over time. Any new symptom like bleeding, itching, or tenderness within a mole should also prompt immediate attention.
This distinction is crucial. Basal cell carcinoma. Common, manageable. Malignant melanoma. Early detection is paramount. Being aware of changes, getting professional advice quickly, can be the difference between life and death.
That's definitely good advice, a powerful call to action. Now remember earlier we mentioned vitamin D synthesis, how the skin acts as a factory.
Yeah, the sunshine connection.
It's such a vital role, connecting directly to our skeletal system in a way many people probably don't fully appreciate. It's a beautiful example of the body's elegant interconnectedness.
It truly is beautiful. You wouldn't immediately think your skin, this outer organ, has such a profound, fundamental impact on something as deep and seemingly separate as your bones. Quite the biological surprise.
You're absolutely right. Your skin, when exposed to UV light, specifically UVB radiation, performs this amazing, almost alchemical chemical conversion. Cholesterol derivatives in the epidermal keratinocytes get transformed into cholecalciferol, that's vitamin D3.
Okay.
This vitamin D3 isn't just some bonus nutrient, it's a prohormone. It needs further processing by the liver and kidneys into its active form, calcitriol, but the crucial first step happens right on your surface, in your skin.
And why is that active vitamin D, that calcitriol, so important for our bones? What's the direct link?
Its importance for bones cannot be overstated. Calcitriol is absolutely essential for your digestive tract to absorb dietary calcium and phosphate from the food you eat.
Absorption is key.
Totally. Calcium and phosphate are the critical minerals giving bones their strength, their rigidity. Without sufficient active vitamin D, even if you're eating enough calcium, your intestines simply can't efficiently absorb it. The calcium just passes right through.
So without this incredible skin function, our bones would essentially be starved of minerals, regardless of diet.
Precisely. Without your skin's contribution here, your bones would literally suffer from malnourishment. A profound deficiency in vitamin D3, particularly in childhood, leads to conditions like rickets. Bones become soft, weak, deformed, can't bear weight properly.
And in adults?
In adults, the equivalent is osteomalacia. Leads to soft bones, increased fracture risk. It's a profound connection, a surface organ profoundly impacting fundamental skeletal health. Demonstrates that intricate harmony within the body.
Incredible. Okay. Finally, let's talk about the journey our skin takes with us over time. What happens as we, shall we say, gracefully age? It's a natural process, but understanding the biological mechanics can help us appreciate, maybe even better care for our skin.
You've hit on a key point. It's important to understand these natural processes, not just for cosmetic reasons, but to foster a deeper appreciation for the skin's lifelong resilience and learn how to support its health. Your sources paint a clear picture of several interconnected changes. Both the epidermis and dermis tend to thin over time.
Thinner skin.
Yeah. It means less protection, reduced cushioning, a more translucent appearance. The layers absorbing impact, shielding underlying structures, become less robust.
So it loses some plumpness, protective thickness. What about its ability to maintain shape, firmness, wrinkles and stuff?
Absolutely. There's a noticeable reduced elasticity because of gradual loss and disorganization of crucial elastin and collagen fibers in the dermis. Collagen production slows down, existing fibers become fragmented. This loss of elasticity and structural integrity leads directly to wrinkles, fine lines, sagging.
Makes sense. And healing, does that slow down too?
Furthermore, the skin's healing ability decreases significantly due to slower stem cell activity in the epidermis and dermis and reduced blood flow to the area. Wounds just take longer to close and repair.
And what about its capacity for regulation, hydration, those primary functions?
You're right to connect back to core functions. The blood supply to the skin generally gets reduced, impacts efficient delivery of nutrients, oxygen, immune cells, removal of waste products too. There's also decreased glandular production, both sebum from sebaceous glands and sweat from sudoriferous glands.
So drier skin.
Leads to drier, more fragile skin, prone to itching, and crucially, an impaired ability for thermoregulation makes older individuals more susceptible to heat stroke or hypothermia.
And what about those visible signs often associated with aging, like hair color?
Yes, you'll naturally notice pale skin and graying hair, largely due to decreased melanocyte activity, thus less melanin production. Melanocytes become less active, fewer in number, hair loses pigment, skin appears paler.
Okay.
While some of these changes are, well, inevitable parts of aging, understanding them allows us to think about how we can best support our skin's health throughout life. Just being mindful. Consistent protection from excessive UV exposure, maintaining proper hydration, adequate nutrition, a gentle skincare routine can all help mitigate some effects, support the skin's resilience.
Wow, we've covered so much ground on the integumentary system. Incredible protective jobs of the epidermis, constant repair, vital role as a vitamin D factory, how it changes over time. Truly a fascinating outer frontier.
It really is.
Now let's shift gears. Dive deep into your inner framework, your skeletal system. It's far more than just a passive scaffold, isn't it? A surprisingly dynamic central player in your overall health.
Absolutely. The skeletal system is far, far more than just rigid support. It's a dynamic, living system, diverse, absolutely essential roles, often unnoticed until, like you said, something goes wrong.
Right.
It's constantly remodeling, responding to stress, actively maintaining your body's delicate internal balance.
So beyond just giving us shape, a structure to stand upright, what are the main functions? What are the surprising roles it plays?
Its primary functions, of course, include support. Sturdy framework for the body, soft tissues, allows posture, resisting gravity. Then there's paramount protection of vital organs. Your skull encases your brain.
Like a helmet.
Exactly. Vertebral column shields your spinal cord. Rib cage forms a formidable barrier for heart and lungs. It also provides leverage for movement. Acts as a system of levers, muscles attached to bones via tendons. When muscles contract, they pull on bones, allowing this incredible range of motion, walking, complex, fine motor skills.
So not just passive framework, but active participant in every movement. What about beyond the obvious mechanical roles?
Crucially, it's the site of blood cell production. Hematopoiesis occurs in the red bone marrow found within spongy bone. All your red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets originate here.
Oh, a blood factory too.
Yeah. Bones also serve as a vast mineral storage site, primarily calcium and phosphate. These minerals aren't just for bones. Calcium is vital for nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, blood clotting, heart rhythm. So bones are essentially a living bank account for these critical ions.
A mineral bank. I like that.
Lastly, the yellow marrow within long bones stores lipids, fat, as an energy reserve, another often overlooked function.
That's an impressively long, vital resume for something we mostly think of as inert. And to organize this incredible framework, the skeleton's divided into two main parts.
Yes, the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton, 80 bones total, includes the skull, vertebral column, rib cage, the hyoid bone in your neck, tiny auditory ossicles in your ear. Primary function: protection and support of brains, spinal cord, organs in thoracic and abdominal cavities, basically the central core of your body.
Your central axis, and then everything else, all the parts letting us move around, interact with the world, manipulate stuff.
Exactly. The appendicular skeleton, 126 bones, includes bones of your upper and lower limbs, and the girdles attaching them to the axial skeleton, your pectoral girdle, shoulder blades, collarbones connecting arms, and your pelvic girdle, hip bones connecting legs. Primary function: movement, manipulation of objects, locomotion, allowing that vast array of activities defining human life. Hashtag tag 2.2, bone types and anatomy.
So, bones aren't all the same shape, clearly. You mentioned shape often dictates function. What are the different ways we classify them? Can you give us some key examples illustrating their purpose?
You're right. Form truly follows function in the skeletal system. Bones are classified into several types based on shape, giving clues about their primary role. We have long bones, longer than they are wide, characterized by a shaft, 2 expanded ends. Examples: femur in your thigh, humerus and upper arm, length and leverage designed for movement, weight bearing.
Okay, long levers.
Then short bones, roughly cube-shaped, provide stability, some mobility, carpals in your wrist, tarsals in your ankle, allowing complex gliding movements.
And what about bones making up the skull or ribs? Seem very different from a thigh bone.
Indeed, those are flat bones, typically thin, flattened, often slightly curved. Sternum, breastbone, ribs, skull bones, scapulae, shoulder blades, broad, flat surfaces, perfect for extensive protection of underlying organs, providing large areas for muscle attachment.
Makes sense. What else?
Then irregular bones, as the name suggests. Complex, varied shapes don't fit other categories. Your vertebrae, with interlocking processes for spinal support, protection, many facial bones, intricate architecture, prime examples.
Okay.
Then sesamoid bones, small round bones embedded within tendons, often where a tendon passes over a joint, modifying the pull of a muscle. The patella kneecap is the largest, most famous example. Increases leverage of thigh muscles.
The kneecap, a sesamoid bone. Interesting.
And small irregular sutural bones, or Wormian bones, can be found within the sutures of the skull. Tiny extra bones.
Fascinating how shape literally dictates the job. Optimizing for protection, leverage, delicate movement. What about the typical parts of a long bone? Seems like they have a specialized internal structure supporting their function.
They absolutely do. Take a typical long bone like the femur, central shaft called the diaphysis, primarily composed of dense, strong, compact bone, maximum strength for weight bearing.
The main shaft.
At each end, an expanded region called the epiphysis, largely made of spongy bone, helps distribute stress. Covered by articular cartilage where they form a joint, providing a smooth, low-friction surface.
The ends of the bone.
Inside the diaphysis, you find the medullary cavity, a hollow space. In adults, contains yellow marrow, primarily adipose tissue, lipid storage. In children, this cavity would house red marrow for blood cell production. What's truly incredible about bones, despite apparent solidity, is they're not static. Constantly being built, maintained, remodeled by this fascinating dynamic team of specialized cells. A continuous microscopic construction and deconstruction site.
Who are these cilia architects, engineers, demolition crews keeping our bones healthy, adaptive?
First, the foundational cells, osteoprogenitor cells, mesenchymal stem cells, essentially the bone's reserves, capable of dividing, differentiating specifically into osteoblasts when new bone formation is needed, growth, repair.
The stem cells for bone.
Exactly. Then, arguably the most famous, osteoblasts, the bone-building cells, primary job. Secrete osteoid, that's the organic matrix of bone collagen fibers, ground substance. Then initiate its mineralization with calcium, phosphate, essentially laying down new bone tissue. Think of them as skilled construction workers.
Okay, the builders. What about the cells maintaining bone once it's built? The ones living within the structure they helped create?
Those are the osteocytes. Once osteoblasts secrete enough matrix around themselves, they get trapped within it. Mature into osteocytes? Mature bone cells reside in tiny cavities called lacunae within the bone matrix.
So they live inside the bone?
Yeah. While they don't build new bone, they're crucial for maintaining bone tissue, help regulate calcium, phosphate levels in the matrix, act as mechanosensors. They communicate with each other via tiny channels called canaliculi, form this complex internal network sensing stress, directing remodeling.
Wow, like a communication network inside the bone.
Pretty much. And finally, we have the destroyers, or remodelers, osteoclasts, large multinucleated cells that actively break down or resorb bone matrix.
The demolition crew.
Exactly. Releasing minerals like calcium, phosphate into the blood, responding to hormonal signals to maintain calcium homeostasis.
So a constant, perfectly choreographed dance between building up, breaking down, keeping bones strong, light, adaptive. That makes me wonder, if you weren't constantly remodeling your bones, what would happen? Would they just get brittle, like old wood? Or too dense?
That's a great question. Highlights the genius of bone remodeling. If they weren't constantly remodeled, bones would become brittle, susceptible to microfractures from accumulating damage, or they could become excessively dense but poorly organized, lacking the optimal internal architecture to resist stresses from various directions. This constant turnover allows bones to adapt to changing loads, repair daily wear and tear, precisely regulate our body's mineral balance.
Amazing. Now, when we talk about bone, we often hear compact and spongy bone. How do these two distinct types contribute to the bone's overall strength and function?
Good question, because their structures and functions are quite distinct, complement each other perfectly. Compact bone, also known as cortical bone, is dense, strong, forms the outer layer of most bones, particularly shafts of long bones. Its structural units are called osteons, or haversian systems, cylindrical structures packed tightly together. This organized design makes it incredibly resistant to stress, primarily in one direction, like forces along the length of a long bone.
So maximum strength for weight bearing, resisting twisting. And spongy bone plays a different but equally vital role.
Exactly. Spongy bone, also known as cancellous or trabecular bone, is lighter, less dense. Truly a marvel of engineering. Found primarily in the epiphyses, ends of long bones, and within flat bones like in your skull. Instead of dense osteons, it's composed of a network of bony spikes and plates called trabeculae.
Like a lattice structure.
Yeah, precisely. With spaces in between housing red bone marrow, this seemingly porous arrangement isn't random. It's meticulously oriented along lines of stress. This design allows it to resist stress from multiple directions, provides lightweight support, crucial flexibility, plus, as we mentioned, provides vital support for red marrow where all your new blood cells are produced. A critical hub for hematopoiesis. Hashtag 2.4 bone health and calcium homeostasis. So it's not just strength and support. Bones are also absolutely vital for our overall mineral balance, specifically calcium, like the body's emergency reserve fund for calcium.
Exactly. Calcium is the most abundant mineral in the human body. Its importance extends far, far beyond just bone health. While 99% of body's calcium is stored in bones, the remaining 1% in blood and soft tissues is crucial for countless physiological processes.
Like what?
Vital for nerve impulse transmission, letting your brain talk to your body. For muscle contraction, including your heartbeat. Blood clotting, even cell signaling. So, maintaining a stable, narrow range of calcium in the blood-calcium homeostasis is absolutely critical for life itself.
That's a powerful point. If blood calcium deviates too much, high or low, can quickly lead to severe neurological cardiac dysfunction. And it's not just the skeletal system involved in that delicate balance, right? A collaborative effort.
That's right. Beautifully integrated system. The skeletal, digestive, and urinary systems all contribute to maintaining calcium homeostasis. Bones act as a massive reservoir, constantly releasing or absorbing calcium as needed. Digestive tract absorbs calcium from food. Kidneys precisely regulate how much calcium is excreted in urine or reabsorbed into bloodstream, a constant, tightly controlled feedback loop.
What are the key hormones acting as master regulators in this delicate balance, directing this orchestra of systems?
Two main hormonal players work in opposition. When blood calcium levels drop below the set point, parathyroid hormone, PTH, secreted by parathyroid glands, steps in. Primary regulator.
Okay, PTH, what does it do?
PTH increases blood calcium levels, stimulates osteoclasts to break down bone, release stored calcium. acts on kidneys to reduce calcium excretion, and crucially, stimulates kidneys to activate vitamin D calcitriol, which then increases intestinal absorption of calcium from food.
So PTH is the calcium raiser. What about when blood calcium gets too high?
Conversely, when blood calcium levels are too high, the thyroid gland secretes calcitonin. Calcitonin acts to decrease blood calcium levels, inhibits osteoclasts, slowing bone breakdown, increases calcium excretion in kidneys. It's less critical in adults than PTH, but part of the fine-tuning.
Okay. And we can't forget, active vitamin D calcitriol in this picture works with PTH.
Precisely. Calcitriol, the active form of vitamin D, works synergistically with PTH, its primary role. Dramatically increase calcium and phosphate absorption in the intestines from your diet, directly impacting the supply of these minerals available for bone health, overall bodily functions.
Now, what happens when this delicate balance is thrown off, or
Right.
when bone density declines significantly? Common bone disorders that highlight the importance of this regulation.
One we mentioned earlier with vitamin D is rickets. Occurs in children due to severe vitamin D deficiency. Poor calcium absorption leads to soft, weak, deformed bones. Can't bear weight properly.
Right, and as we get older...
As we age, there's a natural process of gradual bone loss called osteopenia, reduction in bone mass. Less severe than osteoporosis, but still a concern. Indicates weakening bones.
And the more severe, more widely recognized form of bone loss.
That would be osteoporosis. Severe bone loss, significantly increasing fracture risk, even from minor falls or stresses. Particularly common in postmenopausal women due to decreased estrogen levels, which normally protect bone density. Interestingly, also seen in astronauts due to lack of gravitational stress in space. Highlights the critical importance of mechanical stress, weight-bearing exercise for maintaining bone health throughout life. Given how much our bones do supporting, protecting, enabling movement, storing minerals, they're bound to take a hit sometimes. What are the common types of bone injuries, specifically fractures? How do they differ in severity, appearance?
Fractures, bone breaks, can be classified in several crucial ways determining treatment. Key distinction is the skin broken. A closed or simple fracture means bone is broken but doesn't pierce skin. Bone remains contained.
Okay, skin intact.
Whereas an open or compound fracture is far more serious. Broken bone pierces through skin, creating an open wound. Significantly higher risk of infection, requires immediate medical attention.
So, open fracture, conspicuous medical emergency due to infection risk.
Yeah.
And then different patterns of breaks within the bone itself,
Yeah.
depending on force, angle of impact.
Exactly. Pattern of break often tells us a lot about the injury mechanism. Example, transverse fracture breaks straight across the bone, often a direct blow. Spiral fracture, when twisting force is applied, breaks spirals along its length, common in sport.
Twisting breaks.
Comminuted fracture, bone shatters into 3 or more pieces, often high-impact trauma. Compression fracture, crushing of bone, common in vertebrae, especially with osteoporosis, vertebral body collapses. Green stick fracture, incomplete break. Like a young twig snapping partially, not all the way through. Usually in children, bone's more flexible. And an epiphyseal fracture occurs at the epiphyseal plate, growth plate. Significant in children, can disrupt normal bone growth if not treated properly, potentially lead to limb length discrepancies.
So once a bone is broken, simple crack or complex shatter, how does the body repair it? Seems like a monumental task. But the body has this remarkably consistent, almost automatic process.
It is, and remarkably similar to skin repair in its organized multi-stage process. Demonstrates the body's incredible capacity for self-healing. Body generally follows 4 predictable steps for fracture repair. First, almost immediately, hematoma formation.
Blood clot.
Exactly. Immediately after break, blood vessels within bone, surrounding tissues rupture, leads to bleeding, formation of a large blood clot or hematoma at fracture site. Swelling, intense pain are initial signs. This hematoma eventually clots, acts as temporary plug, stabilizing area, isolating injury.
Okay, blood clot stabilizes, brings initial cleanup, inflammation. What's next to start bridging the gap?
Precisely. Second, within days, callus formation. Specialized cells, fibroblasts. Chondroblasts invade the hematoma. Fibroblasts produce collagen fibers. Chondroblasts start forming fibrocartilage. Combination gradually transforms hematoma into a soft callus, a temporary splint of fibrocartilage, spongy bone, internal between bone ends and external around break. This soft callus acts as flexible bridge, stabilizing fracture site, providing foundation for future bone formation.
So body builds a temporary flexible bridge. After that, how does it become hard bone again?
Third, spongy bone formation. Over several weeks, soft callus gradually replaced by bony callus of spongy bone. Osteoblasts, those bone builders, become very active, lay down new bone tissue replacing fibrocartilage. Process significantly strengthens repair, makes bone more rigid.
Getting stronger.
Finally, long-term process. Compact bone remodeling. Over several months, even years, bony callus meticulously remodeled. Osteoclasts remove excess material from exterior, interior bone. Simultaneously, osteoblasts continue laying down new compact bone, precisely sculpting, organizing bone tissue, restores bone to original shape, strength, often makes healed bone even stronger in fracture area than before, testament to its adaptive genius.
From general mechanics of bones, incredible repair.
Let's zoom in on specific parts, starting with the axial skeleton, that formidable structure, the skull, arguably the ultimate protector of our most vital organ. Can you give us an overview, main components, how they function together?
The skull is an extraordinary feat of biological engineering. Complex structure, two main groups of bones. First, 8 cranial bones. Form a sturdy, protective vault for your brain.
The brain case.
Right. Think large, curved parietal bones forming top, sides of head. Frontal bone creating forehead. Occipital bone at back. These bones intricately fitted together, acting like a helmet designed by nature, safeguarding your most critical organ. And then the facial bones, giving us our unique appearance, housing sensory organs.
Exactly. Complementing the cranium, 14 facial bones. Intricately shape your face, support teeth, provide attachment points for all muscles allowing expressions, chewing, speech. Key examples. Jawbone, the mandible, only movable bone in skull, essential for chewing. Zygomatic bones forming prominent cheekbones. These facial bones also form orbits for eyes, nasal cavity, oral cavity, integrating sensory input, providing structural support for delicate features.
And how are these bones held together in an adult, creating such a rigid protective structure?
In an adult, skull bones mostly joined by sutures. Immovable fibrous joints look like jagged seams, allow immense strength, interlocking stability. Major ones, key landmarks. Coronal suture, like a crown, frontal parietal. Sagittal suture, down middle of skull between parietals. Lambdoid suture, parietal occipital, like Greek letter lambda. Squamous suture, flatter scale like parietal temporal. You can remember them, crazy, silly little sutures.
Crazy, silly little sutures. Great mnemonic. And for infants, it's different, right? Those soft spots, fontanelles. Their purpose.
Yes, infant skull sutures haven't fully fused, leaving areas called fontanelles, fibrous membranes. Typically 6 in newborn, those sources often focus on 4 major, anterior, posterior, 2 sphenoidal, 2 mastoid, helpful mnemonic for major 4. All people smile more, anterior, posterior, sphenoidal, mastoid.
All people smile more. Got it. Why are they there?
Absolutely crucial. Allow rapid growth of infant brain after birth. Very practically, provide flexibility to skull during birth, making passage through birth canal easier without damaging delicate brain. They gradually close over first 18-24 months.
And then there's that truly unique bone in the neck. Doesn't actually touch any other bone, yet incredibly important for speech, swallowing.
That's the hyoid bone. Unique in human body. Doesn't articulate with any other bone. Suspended in neck by ligaments, muscles. Instead serves as crucial anchor for muscles of tongue, floor of mouth, larynx. Vital role in swallowing, speech, maintaining open airway. Unique position, function make it essential for these complex actions.
From the protective vault of the skull, let's descend. Vertebral column, our central axis. Backbone literally holding us up. Different regions, how are they uniquely adapted for specific roles?
Vertebral column, spine, incredibly complex dynamic structure. Provides support for skull, torso, vital protection for delicate spinal cord. Superior to inferior, divided into distinct regions, specific anatomical features, functions. Cervical region, 7 vertebrae, neck. Thoracic region, 12 vertebrae, upper back, articulating with ribs. Lumbar region, 5 large vertebrae, lower back, followed by sacrum, 5 fused vertebrae. Finally, coccyx, 3 to 5 fused vertebrae, tailbone.
And each region has distinctive features for its job, making it identifiable.
Absolutely. Cervical vertebrae, generally smaller, distinctive bifid forked spinous process on C2-C6. Unique transverse foramina, holes in transverse processes allowing passage of vertebral arteries to brain. Designed for flexibility, supporting head.
Neck bones.
Thoracic vertebrae. Medium-sized bodies, long, slender spinous processes pointing sharply downwards. Crucially, facets for rib articulation, reflecting role in forming rib cage. Lumbar vertebrae. Largest, thickest bodies, short, blunt, hatchet-shaped spinous processes, perfectly adapted for primary role in weight-bearing, absorbing compressive forces.
Lower back, taking the load.
Sacrum, large triangular bone, 5 fused vertebrae, sacral foramina on surface for passage of spinal nerves, strong base for vertebral column.
And those two very special vertebrae right at the top,
Yep.
allowing head movements, atlas and axis.
Yes, the Atlas C1 and Axis C2, marvels of anatomical specialization. Atlas C1, ring-shaped bone-supporting skull, articulates with occipital condyles of skull, allowing nodding yes motion, no body or spinous process.
Just a ring.
Axis C2, just below it. Unique upward projection called odontoid process, or DENS, projects into ring of Atlas. Forms pivot joint with Atlas, allowing rotational no movement. These two critical for extensive range of motion of head.
What about natural curves of the spine?
Yeah.
And when those curves become exaggerated? Or cushioning between vertebrae is compromised?
Vertebral column has 4 natural gentle curvatures: cervical lumbar lordosis, thoracic sacral kyphosis, crucial for shock absorption, maintaining balance, increasing flexibility. Abnormal exaggerations include kyphosis, excessive posterior thoracic curve, hunchback, lordosis, excessive anterior lumbar curve, sway back, scoliosis. Abnormal lateral curvature, C-shaped or S-shaped, often presents during adolescence.
And slip discs.
Another common, often painful issue, slipped or herniated disc. Nucleus pulposus, soft, gel-like center of intervertebral disc protrudes posteriorly, often compressing spinal nerves, causes excruciating pain, numbness, weakness in limbs.
Finally, ribs and sternum, protecting vital organs in thoracic cavity. How are they structured?
Ribs and sternum form protective bony cage of thorax. 12 pairs of ribs, categorized by attachment to sternum. True ribs, pairs 1 to 7, attached directly to sternum via own costal cartilages. Strong, direct connection.
Connected directly.
False ribs, pairs 8-10, attach indirectly. Costal cartilages fuse with cartilage of 7th rib before reaching sternum. Floating ribs, pairs 11-12, no anterior attachment to sternum at all. End in posterior abdominal wall.
Just floating there.
Pretty much. The sternum itself, breastbone, flat bone, center of chest, 3 parts, broad manubrium, top, elongated body, middle, small inferior xiphoid process. Together, these form flexible yet robust protective cage for heart, lungs, major blood vessels.
Okay, so we've thoroughly explored incredible protective layers of skin, sturdy dynamic framework of bones. Now let's move on to what allows us to actually use that framework in all its glory.
Yeah.
Your joints. Truly unsung heroes of movement, fascinating points where bones meet, allowing everything from subtle gestures to powerful locomotion.
Indeed. Joints or articulations. Fascinating structures dictating not just how we move, but also how stable our skeleton is. Delicate, often inverse relationship between stability, mobility.
Inverse relationship. More movement, less stability.
Exactly. We can categorize them a couple fundamental ways. Structurally, based on material binding bones, and functionally, based on amount of movement allowed.
Let's start structural categories. Based on what holds bones together, how are they classified?
Structurally, 3 main types. Fibrous joints, held together by dense connective tissue, primarily collagen fibers, offer little to no movement, designed for strength, stability. Classic examples: sutures in skull, rigid protective case; syndesmoses, like ligament between tibia and fibula, allowing minimal give; gomphoses, peg and socket joints, anchoring teeth into bony sockets.
Okay, fibrous means strong, not much movement.
Then cartilaginous joints. Bones united by cartilage, allow slight movement, act as shock absorbers, provide flexibility. Examples: synhedroses, like epiphyseal plates in growing bones; hyaline cartilage connects bone; symphyses, like pubic symphysis, connecting pelvic halves; or intervertebral discs, fiber cartilage providing cushioning, limited mobility.
Cartilage means a little bit of give, and the ones giving us all that amazing free mobility we associate with most everyday actions.
Those are synovial joints, by far most common type in body, characterized by unique joint cavity filled with synovial fluid, allowing wide range of free movement. Joints of your limbs, knees, elbows, shoulders, hips, built for dynamic action.
And this leads directly to functional categories, all about how much movement a joint allows. Perfectly aligns with structural classifications, I imagine.
Exactly. We have synarthrosis, immovable joints, like skull sutures. Primary function protection, not movement. Then amphiarthrosis, slightly movable joints. Pubic symphysis, joints between vertebrae, designed for limited flexibility, shock absorption. Finally, diarthrosis, freely movable joints. This category includes all synovial joints, offers greatest range of motion, enabling complex, varied movements.
This brings up a really important principle about joints: relationship between stability, range of motion. Feels like always a trade-off.
What's absolutely fascinating here is the inverse relationship. The more mobile a joint is, less stable it tends to be, vice versa. Think shoulder joint, ball and socket, enormous range of motion, rotate arm, almost 360 degrees. But precisely because of this mobility, also most frequently dislocated joint, comparatively less stable than, say, your hip.
Makes sense.
Skull sutures, on the other hand, incredibly stable but offer no movement, prioritizing protection above all else. Fundamental engineering principle applied beautifully in biology.
So let's dive into those freely movable synovial joints. Enable most daily activities. Walking, typing, reaching for coffee. What are their basic structural components allowing such smooth, effortless motion?
Basic structure of synovial joint is quite elegant, almost like self-lubricating, shock-absorbing machine. Each end of articulating bones covered by articular cartilage, typically hyaline cartilage, provides incredibly smooth, slippery surface, crucial for reducing friction between bone ends, allowing them to glide past each other, minimal resistance.
Like ice on ice.
Pretty close. Surrounding entire joint is articular capsule, two-layered structure enclosing unique joint cavity. Outer fibrous layer provides strength, stability. Inner layer, synovial membrane, secretes synovial fluid. This fluid fills joint cavity, acting as primary lubricant.
So that synovial fluid isn't just for lubrication, other critical roles, right?
Absolutely. Function is multifaceted. Beyond superb lubrication reducing friction, also acts as crucial shock absorber, distributing pressure across articular cartilage, protecting bones from impact, and vitally, essential for nutrient distribution to avascular articular cartilage, waste removal too, keeping cartilage healthy. Without it, cartilage would quickly degenerate.
Needs that fluid to survive.
Totally. And beyond these core components, also a number of accessory structures enhancing joint function, stability, providing extra cushioning, support.
What kind of accessories?
Yes, accessories crucial for reinforcing joint, minimizing friction. Often find meniscus, crescent-shaped pads of fiber cartilage, famously in knee, improve fit between articulating bone surfaces, help absorb shock, distribute weight more evenly, preventing bone-on-bone contact.
Neat shit.
There are fat pads providing additional cushioning, filling spaces during movement, and bursa, small flattened sacs lined with synovial membrane filled with synovial fluid. Think bursa, bubble of fluid strategically placed. Cushion, reduce friction between structures like tendons, ligaments, skin, bones, especially in areas of high movement.
Little fluid sacs.
Then, of course, tendons, connecting muscle to bone, and ligaments connecting bone to bone, both providing critical stability to joint by limiting excessive or unwanted movements. Hashtag TAC 3.3, the language of movement.
Okay, with these amazing joint structures, our body performs an incredible array of movements. Almost like learning a new language to describe them. Essential for understanding how body truly works. Let's start with core movements, defining how limbs bend, extend.
Definitely has its own vocabulary. Mastering it helps appreciate precision of our mechanics. Flexion describes movement decreasing angle between two bones or body parts, bringing them closer together. Think bending elbow, bringing forearm towards upper arm. Bending knee, bringing heel closer to glutes. Its opposite is extension, increases angle between bones, effectively straightening a joint. Straightening knee or elbow from flexed position.
Straightening. Got it.
Yeah.
And movements away from or towards body's central axis.
That's where abduction and adduction come in. Abduction, movement of limb away from midline of body, raising arm out to side, spreading fingers apart. Its opposite is adduction, movement of limb towards midline, lowering arm back to side, bringing fingers together. These terms primarily apply to appendicular skeleton.
Arms and legs, basically.
Right. And for those wonderfully fluid circular motions, swinging arm around, that's circumduction. Circular movement of limb combining flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and sequence. Essentially drawing a cone in air with distal end of limb, like doing arm circles. Then rotation, movement of bone around its own longitudinal axis. Can be medial rotation, internal, turning limb inward towards midline, or lateral rotation, external, turning limb outward, away from midline. Think turning leg so toes point inward or outward.
Beyond these core movements, many specialized movements, often unique to specific body parts, allowing incredibly precise actions. Can you give a few examples of these more nuanced movements?
Certainly. Forearm and hand, supination. Movement turning palm upward, like holding soup in hand. Opposite is pronation, turns palm downward, action where radius bone crosses over ulna.
Soup up, pronate down.
In the foot, inversion. Turns sole of foot inward, raising medial edge, eversion. Turn sole of foot outward, raising lateral edge. For the ankle, dorsiflexion, points toes upward towards shin. Lifting foot off gas pedal, plantar flexion, points toes downward, pressing gas pedal, standing on tiptoes.
Heel-toe movements. What about jaw, shoulders?
Jaw, protraction moves body part forward, pushing jaw out, underbite. Opposite retraction, pulling backward, bringing jaw in. Depression, downward movement, dropping jaw to open mouth. Elevation, upward movement, closing jaw, shrugging shoulders. Finally, truly unique movement of thumb, enabled by special saddle joint. Opposition.
The thumb thing.
Action of touching thumb to tips of other fingers. Absolutely crucial for gripping, fine motor skills, human dexterity. Hashtag tag 3.4 types of synovial joints and where to find them.
That's an impressive vocabulary of movement. Now, these incredible precise movements all made possible by different structural types of synovial joints. And you have a great mnemonic to help remember them.
I do. To remember the 6 functional types of synovial joints, just in this playful phrase, please hug puppies, cats, snakes, and birds.
It's fantastic. Let's break that down, starting with please. Where might we find that type?
Please stands for plane or gliding joint. Characterized by flat or slightly curved articular surfaces. Allows short non-axial gliding movements. Bones just slide past each other. Stability with minimal motion. Find these in intercarpal joints in wrist, allowing small wrist bones to glide during hand movements.
Okay, gliding joint, hug.
Hug is for hinge joint. Allows movement essentially one plane, like door hinge, performing only flexion, extension, classic examples, elbow joint, knee joint. Giving ability to bend, straighten limbs powerfully. Simple back and forth in puppies and cats.
Poppies reminds us of pivot joints. Allow rotation around central axis. Rounded end of one bone fits into ring formed by another bone, ligament. Primary example, joint between atlas and axis, C1, C2 vertebrae. Allows rotating head side to side. No, another, radial liner joint in forearm, enabling pronation, supination.
Rotation joints, cats.
Cats is for condylar or ellipsoidal joints. Oval-shaped articular surface on one bone nestled into complementary oval depression on another, allowing biaxial movement, flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. Excellent example. Radiocarpal joint in wrist, allowing wide range of hand movements, though no axial rotation.
Wrist joints. Okay, finally, snakes and birds.
Snakes refers to saddle joints, quite unique. Articular surfaces, both concave, convex, fitting together like rider and saddle. Allows fantastic range of motion, including opposition. Classic example, only true saddle joint in body. Couple metacarpal joint at base of thumb, between trapezium, first metacarpal. This joint gives some incredible versatility, ability to oppose other fingers, crucial for dexterity. The amazing thumb joint. And birds.
Birds is for ball and socket joints. Features spherical head of one bone fitting into cup-like socket of another. Structural design provides widest range of motion in all planes, flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, rotation, circumduction. Your shoulder, glenohumeral, and hip joints, prime examples, offer incredible freedom of movement but comes at cost. Also least stable. Shoulder being most frequently dislocated joint due to relatively shallow socket.
So our joints give us this incredible, versatile range of motion, enabling everything we do. But like any complex, frequently used system, they can also go wrong, leading to debilitating pain, stiffness. Let's talk about arthritis, condition affecting millions.
Arthritis is truly pervasive, often debilitating condition, broadly defined as inflammation of joints. Inflammation causes characteristic symptoms, pain, stiffness, swelling, reduced function. While over 100 different types most commonly affect synovial joints, those freely movable ones we just discussed, condition profoundly impacting person's quality of life, mobility.
There are a couple of very common types, often confused but very different underlying causes, mechanisms. Can you help distinguish osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis?
Absolutely. Understanding distinction vital because treatments differ. Most prevalent type, affecting tens of millions, osteoarthritis, often referred to as wear and tear arthritis, degenerative joint disease, primarily results from gradual breakdown, erosion of articular cartilage covering ends of bones in synovial joints. Imagine that smooth, slippery, protective layer starting to fray, wear away.
So essentially mechanical breakdown of joints cushioning. What happens as cartilage wears down?
Exactly. As cartilage wears away, protective space between bones decreases. Bone can eventually rub on bone, causing immense pain, inflammation, limiting movement. Becomes more common with age, often affects weight-bearing joints, knees, hips, spine. Can be exacerbated by repetitive stress, obesity, previous joint injuries. Progressive disease tends to worsen over time.
Wear and tear. And then there's a very different, more systemic type, where body actually attacks itself.
That's rheumatoid arthritis, chronic systemic autoimmune disease. body's own immune system mistakenly attacks its own healthy tissues. In this case, primarily synovial membranes of joints. Profound case of mistaken identity. Immune system perceives joint lining as foreign threat.
Immune system gone rogue.
Precisely. This immune attack leads to persistent inflammation, causes synovial membrane to thicken, eventually leading to cartilage, bone erosion within joint, can result in severe joint damage, deformity, chronic pain. Rheumatoid arthritis often affects multiple joints symmetrically. If affects one hand, typically affects other. Unlike osteoarthritis, typically localized, rheumatoid arthritis can also have systemic effects beyond joints. Fatigue, fever, inflammation in other organs. Understanding these two distinct etiologies crucial for accurate diagnosis, effective management, underscoring complexity of our body's interconnected systems. #tech outro.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've taken today. From the amazing, multifaceted armor of your skin, protective layers, constant repair, vital, surprising role as vitamin D factory.
The organ.
Through the intricate, dynamic, supportive framework of your bones, constant remodeling, critical role in calcium regulation, all the way to the incredible versatility, complexity of your joints, precise language of movement they allow.
It really is a marvel of biological engineering, isn't it? These systems are a constant testament to the body's adaptive genius. Complex, dynamic, tirelessly protecting, regulating, sensing, repairing, often without us consciously realizing the intricate processes going on behind the scenes.
Silent symphony, like you said.
Exactly. All working in concert, every single second. For our survival, our ability to interact with, experience the world.
So for you, our listener, consider this. The next time you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, or perhaps you notice an old scar that tells a story of healing, or even just move a limb with such ease you don't even think about it, pause for a moment and think about that astonishing unseen world of cells, layers, intricate functions working tirelessly beneath the surface to make that simple experience possible. What other seemingly taken for granted systems in your body might hold equally fascinating secrets that you're ready to deep dive into next. Until then, keep exploring.